better off now than you were 4 years ago.
Are you ready to make your voices heard?
A lot of stakes, and I just felt like my voice needed to be heard, and voting was a way to do that.
Gas pricing dropping, job market getting better and stuff like that.
And we want to make sure we enforce our trade laws in a way that gives Americans a competitive edge.
We're pro-immigration, not pro-invasion.
It's really important, I think, so that the next generation knows, like, this is a gift, this is a privilege, and we need to really take advantage of that.
I think there'll be a lot more voting this year than they have in the past.
My vote matters. My vote matters.
Making a difference.
Everybody needs to vote.
Wow, what an exciting night. We have been talking about it for weeks, for months leading up to this point, Election Day 2024. Thank you so much for joining us for this special edition of WTOL 11 News at 6. I'm Jeff Smith.
And I'm Kaylee Marin-Ted. We are live at the Toledo Public Schools Board of Education polling location. Polls in Ohio are open for another hour and a half and another 2 hours for people voting in Michigan. We've definitely seen a little bit of a slowdown when it comes to lines. We saw a little bit of a rush at about 5 o'clock.
I think right as we were saying, people were getting off work. We have live team coverage for you throughout the next half hour. We're covering the races in both Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan.
Melissa Andrews and Megan Hartnett are with the candidates from both parties as we await results in some of the biggest national and local races on the ballot. And we're spanned across the area, live from polling locations in Lucas, Wood, Lenawee, and Hancock counties.
Also, Sophia Perricone, Steve Iwanek, Andre Norrells, and Michael Sandlin. They are going to break down the pulse at the polls as each of these communities decide whether to approve new money for their school districts. Very important going into today.
But first, we want to get a check of your forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Vickers. Chris?
Yeah, guys, it was a tie of a record high today, 76 degrees, a warm, dry, and windy day. And we still stay right around the low to mid 70s as we go into your evening. We are now after dark and very slowly dropping low 70s, a gusty breeze ahead of a cold front. And here's the rain chance. It's going to roll in likely after the polls close. Earliest we should see some rain is going to be between 8 and 9 o'clock. And that is going to be coming in from the west. And it will be gone by tomorrow morning as we even out right around the mid 60s for Wednesday afternoon. More of my 10-day forecast coming right up. Back over to you guys.
All right, Chris, thank you very much. We want to continue with our live team coverage. We're going to start with Melissa Andrews. She is covering the Lucas County Democratic Party tonight.
Melissa, we are going to check in with you. She's joining us from the UAW Local 12, where the Democrats are holding their watch party. How are things going there?
Well, guys, things are picking up. The food and drinks have arrived, and so have a couple people here in the Democratic Party. But I'm told everybody is still out at the polling locations trying to get those last-minute voters, even as the election winds down in about an hour and a half. Now, we are keeping our eye on some local races, including the 2 Lucas County Commissioner seats. There is an at-large seat on Toledo City Council, and there is a judge seat. A lot of the races here in the Democratic Party are unopposed tonight. And, of course, we have the big shebang. We have Marcy Kaptur, who's going to be here tonight, and Marcy Kaptur is in a race in the 9th District against Derek Marin. Kaptur's faced a couple of really tough elections due to redistricting, which is an issue in this election in itself. For example, from 1986 to 2002, she won every election with at least 74% of the vote. However, in 2022, she won 57-43 against J.R. Majewski. So Republicans are really viewing the 9th District as one of their strongest opportunities to flip a House seat with Derek Marin. Regardless, I caught up with her today as she was visiting voters out at some polling locations. Here's what she had to say.
They're telling me that many have voted for me, which makes me feel good, and but also some of the concerns they have for maybe a personal situation that they're facing. A few have talked to me about public issues, the need for greater counseling and behavioral health services for our children, for example.
Now, if it were just Lucas County, Marcy Kaptur has been very popular. She is well loved by the auto workers, for example, here in Lucas County. But this race has some very big national impacts, and it's one that people are watching all over the country. In fact, UT political science professor Sam Nelson, who we're using for some of our coverage, said it is probably the first real direct challenge where you look at it and say, well, she could lose this race. So as those polls close in about an hour and a half, 2 hours in Michigan, we are going to keep an eye on it. We do expect Marcy to show up here at Local 12 tonight. And of course, we will have a chance to speak with her then. For now, reporting live at Local 12, Melissa Andrews, WTOL 11.
All right, thanks, Mel. That was a look at the Democratic Watch Party. Now we are going to check in with the Republicans and how they are preparing for tonight.
What's been interesting over the last couple of weeks is some of the big names. Even though Ohio has not played the role of swing state this year, there have been a lot of big names that have come into town as far as the GOP is concerned over the last couple of weeks. Megan Hartnett, she joins us live from Holland Gardens, where the Republican Watch Party is happening tonight. So we know preparations are underway. How are things getting going there?
Once the polls close at 7:30, different people, including candidates like John Rozek and Tom Winooski, are expected to make their way here and watch those results come in. I'm currently joined with the chair of the Lucas County Republican Party, Barbara Orange. Barbara, we were talking earlier that just tell me how this race is going for, or this election is going for Lucas County Republicans.
This has been a really good election cycle, better than some in the past, partly because we have excellent candidates and we've all had a team effort and working together and working very hard. And I just feel real positive we're going to have some wins tonight.
And earlier we were talking about there are some big names who have been coming to the area throughout the campaigning season, including Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. What was that like for you?
Well, it was quite an honor for us to host Speaker Mike Johnson at our headquarters in support of Derek Marin. It was a really great day. He's a very humble man and just really wants to be able to get things done for the country, for everyone across the United States.
Great. Thank you so much. I know we'll be here watching those results come in, and we're going to be sure to be keeping you updated as the candidates get here and as we learn a little bit more about what happened at the polls. Reporting in Holland, Megan Hartnett, WTOL 11.
All right, Megan, thank you. As our team coverage continues, as we were saying, there's a lot of other stuff to cover. Can't get it all into a half-hour broadcast, but in Lucas County, there are 2 at-large seats on Toledo City Council up for grabs in today's election. One running unopposed. The other has current Councilman Mac Driscoll facing off against Republican challenger Tom Names. Driscoll is a Democrat who was appointed to his seat earlier this year when Tiffany Whitman and Katie Moline, they left council.
All Toledo residents are getting ready for the chance to vote on a proposed change to the city charter. The measure on the ballot would increase the number of consecutive terms, consecutive being the key here word. The mayor could serve from the current 2 to a proposed 3. If approved, the term limit for mayor would match the current term limit in place for members of Toledo City Council.
Other races we are watching for you here tonight, here in the Glass City. Toledo Public Schools has a levy on the ballot. It is the first one in about a decade.
Sophia Periconi is joining us live now with more on issue 19. Sophia?
Kaylee and Jeff, issue 19 is what TPS is hoping voters will pass tonight. It's a combined $5.8 million bond and levy. And to tell us a little bit more about it, I'm here with Superintendent Dr. Romulus Durant. Dr. Durant, what is issue 19?
It's a combination between a $3.8 million, which allows to get ahead of inflation, which we haven't asked for new money in 10 years. At the same time, the bond is millage that allows us to do some injection to create opportunity within the space of Scott Park. So Scott Park has been vacant since 1999, and so we're able to do some creative things, education, recreation, as well as residency on that campus.
And I know you were bopping around the polls a little bit today, talking to people. What are you hearing and seeing when it comes to issue 19?
There's been a lot of support. I could tell you every polling site has been very active. There are cars coming continuously since the first thing in the morning all the way into current time, and so many of the voters have been very supportive, very encouraging in that sense of really supporting schools, and we just appreciate that. They have been a support of these students as well as myself for 13 years, and I've just been blessed to be in position. Yep.
And you said $3.8 million levy, $2 million bond. How does this support the district?
You know, it allows us to be innovative and create opportunity, particularly with the Scott Park project, being able to put 3 academies on that campus in the area of business, education, and social service, which is police and fire. At the same time, construction, trade, and architectural design, really re-bringing back the Macomber-Whitney aspect of bringing trade back to the forefront, having skilled laborers in this presence, but more importantly, having business and educators to be able to succeed in our own position here as an education.
Dr. Durant, thank you so much for being with us here tonight talking about issue 19. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Jeff and Kaylee, we'll send it back to you guys.
Sophia, thank you.